Okay, 8th grade math, you're going to open up your big Shapes of Algebra packet and you're going to flip to the very back page and then flip over one more, and at the bottom of that page that you're looking at it says 4.3 number 1, so on the bottom of the right hand page. Okay. The first 6 problems are going to be substitution. The second 6 will be elimination. So this is just a quick recap. In number 1, you have something that is already solved for y. So you're going to plug that in for y so that you can get one equation with one letter so that you can solve. So we're now going to rewrite this equation where this y is not here, but the 3x is in place of it because it is equal to y. So 2x plus, instead of y, this is your substitute, 3x equals 45. So the two letters are on the same side of the equation. 2x plus 3x is 5x. You're just putting them together. And then to isolate the x, you're going to divide both sides by 5. So x equals 9. Now, you need to find the ordered pair solution where these two lines cross. So you need to pick one of them to plug the 9 in for x. The top one is a lot easier to work with. So y equals 3 times 9, so y equals 27. So the ordered pair solution is 9, 27. Now, it's a really good idea to check your work. So if you plug 9 in for x, and if you plug 27 in for y, 2 times 9 is 18. Is 18 plus 27 45? Yes, so you are certain this is correct. Number 2. You already have the y isolated. So this, what is equal to y, goes in for the y in the opposite equation. So the bottom equation, 6x plus 2, and then instead of y, you are writing 2x plus 2 because this just got substituted for the y. It came in and the y left, just like a substitute, teacher, just like a substitute for fries and onion rings. The one leaves, the other's there. Okay, you have a number outside of a parentheses. That means you need to distribute to get the parentheses gone. So 6x plus 4x plus 4 equals 12. 6x plus 4x is equal to 10x. And then to solve for x, you need to get the x alone. 10 and x are really good buds. They're tight. So the 10 leaves last. So you need to undo the added 4 by subtracting 4 because you're undoing the order of operations. So 10x equals 8. Why is that such a weird number? So x equals 8 over 10, which is 4/5. So when you plug that back in, you're going to get a funky number. So you're going to plug 4/5 in for x. So y equals 2 times 4/5 plus 2. So 2 times 4 is 8/5. So y equals 8/5 plus 2. And that would be 8/5 is 1 and 3/5. So 1 and 3/5 plus 2 is 3 and 3/5. So the ordered pair solution is 4/5 for x and then 3 and 3/5 for y. We're going to go on to 3. You have this y equals 4x and then you have y equals 2x plus 6. So because those both equal y, you can set them equal to each other. It's kind of like substituting the 4x in for that y. So then to solve this, subtract 2x. So 2x equals 6, and then divide by 2, so x equals 3. Then you're going to go back and plug it into either one. If you plug it into there, you get 12. You can test and plug it into here. You also get 12. So that's how you know the ordered pair solution is 3, 12. All right, flip your page over. We're going to continue substitution. So here's your y. There's your y. This is going to go in for that y. So 2x plus x minus 2 equals 4. That's the part that you substituted. So 2x plus x, and x alone is like a 1x. That's 3x minus 2 equals 4. Then you would add 2. So 3x equals 6. Divide by 3. So x equals 2. Then you're going to plug the 2 back into the initial one, either one. If you plug it into the top, you get y equals 0. If you want to check and plug it into the bottom, you would have 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus y equals 4, so y equals 0 for both. So now again, you know you're correct. 2, 0 is your ordered pair solution. More with substitution. In 5, this y is solved for. So that goes right there in for this y. So 2x plus x plus 7, that's your substitute, equals -1. So 2x plus 1x is 3x. You're going to subtract 7. So 3x equals -8. So x equals 8/3, negative. So 8/3 is -2 2/3. You're going to plug that back into the bottom one. So -2 2/3 plus 7 is 4 1/3. Because those two things added give you 7. So that's going to be your answer for this. The last substitution, this one, the x is isolated. So this 4y is going to go into that x. So 2, and then instead of x, you have 4y. There's no plus, so it's just one term. Plus, writing the rest of this, 3y equals 8. So 2 times 4y is 8y. 8y plus 3y is 11y. So y equals 8 over 11. Another funky fraction. So you're going to plug that in for y. So x equals 4 times 8 over 11. That's 32 over 11. So that would be 2 10/11. So your ordered pair solution is 8/11 and then 2 10/11. You can plug it in and check if you want. Yeah, I flipped that, didn't I? Thank you. X is 2 10/11. Y is 8/11. That is your ordered pair solution. Perfect. Okay, we're going to jump down to elimination now. So I think if you flip the page over, we'll just go straight to the problems. Yep, right here. Okay, in elimination, the coefficients, the number in front of one of the letters has to be the same. So if you look at number 1, you could put a 1, oh boy, in front of both of these letters. So this is -1 and this is +1. So if you add them, the x's cancel. And then 4y plus 2y is 6y, and 5 plus 3 is 8. So when you divide by 6, you get y equals 8 over 6, which is 4/3, which is 1 1/3. Then you need to plug that back into whichever one is easier to work with. The bottom one has smaller numbers. So x plus 2 times 4/3, or 1 1/3, equals 5. So x plus 8/3 equals 5. So 8/3 is 2 2/3. So you're going to subtract 2 2/3. So x equals 2 1/3. So your ordered pair solution is 2 1/3 and then 1 1/3. So in number 2, if you're going to eliminate a letter, hopefully you're noticing that the y's have the same exact coefficient, but if you add, they don't eliminate. So you actually need to subtract the whole thing. Now, instead of subtracting, you can think of this as multiplying everything by -1 in the bottom. So that would be negative, that would be negative, and that would become positive. And then you can add them. So you can think of it as subtraction, or you can think of it as multiplying by a negative and adding. So that gives us -3x, then the y's cancel, and then the number is 12. So when you divide by -3, you get x equals -4. You're going to plug that back into, the top one looks easier to work with. So 2 times -4 plus 3y equals 4. So 2 times -4 is -8. You're going to add 8 and then divide by 3. So y is equal to 4. So the ordered pair solution is -4, 4. And again, since these are easy numbers, you could plug them in and just see. So is 5 times -4 is -20, and 3 times 4 is 12, and -20 plus 12 is -8. So for sure that works. Okay, so 3, you're going to subtract to eliminate, because if you add, this would give you 7x and this would give you -6y. So nothing eliminates. So you can't add. So multiply the bottom by -1, which is like subtracting, and then add. So 2x and -5x is -3x. The y's will cancel because you have a positive and a negative. And then a 4 and a -7 is a -3. So when you divide by -3, you get x equals 1. Then you're going to plug 1 back into whichever one is easier to work with. So 2 times 1 minus 3y equals 4. So 2 minus 3y equals 4. Subtract 2. So -3y equals 2. And then divide by -3, so y equals -2/3. So 1, -2/3. And that's actually kind of easy to plug in. 5 times 1 is 5. 3 times -2/3 is -2, and 5 minus -2 is 7. So that's definitely correct. Okay, 4. This time, you can't just add to eliminate. You need to get one of the coefficients the same. So if you look at the y's, to get those both to be a 6, you would have to multiply the top by 3. So I'm going to rewrite the top equation. 6x plus 6y equals 15. And now I'm going to just rewrite the bottom just as is, so that if you add these, the y's cancel. So 9x equals 27. Divide by 9, and you get x equals 3. And then you plug the 3 into one of the initial. The top one looks easier to work with. So 2 times 3 plus 2y equals 5. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2y equals 5. Subtract 6. 2y equals negative 1. So y equals negative 1/2. So the ordered pair solution is 3, negative 1/2. And if you want to test it, in the bottom one, 3 times 3 is 9. Negative 6 times negative 1/2 is 3. And 9 plus 3 is 12. So you're positive that is right. All right, looking at 5. It's going to be easiest to get the x to be the same coefficient. It's also easier to add. So if you multiply the top by negative 3, then you can add to eliminate the x. So rewriting the top, multiplying by negative 3. Negative 3x plus negative 9y equals negative 12. Rewriting the bottom as is. Adding to eliminate. So you have negative 5y equals negative 10. Divide by negative 5, and you get y equals 2. Then you're going to plug that back into the initial. X plus 3 times 2 equals 4. X plus 6 equals 4. Subtract 6. So x equals negative 2. So the ordered pair solution looks like it's 2, negative 2. You can check with the bottom equation. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 4 times 2 is 8. Is negative 6 plus 8 2? Yep. So you know you're right. All right, the last one. You would need to subtract to eliminate the x's. So x minus x cancels. Now you have 2y minus negative 6y. That's 8y. And then you have 5 minus 11, which is 6, negative. So once you divide by 8, your solution is negative 6 over 8, which is negative 3/4. And then you would plug that in. The top one looks a bit easier to work with. So x plus 2 times negative 3/4 equals 5. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 over 4. So negative 6/4 is the same as negative 3/2, which is negative 1/2. So x minus 1/2 equals 5. You would then add 1/2. So x is equal to 6.5. So your ordered pair solution is 6.5, comma, negative 3/4. If you want to check that in the bottom one, you can, but the bell is going to ring in about a minute. So hopefully substitution and elimination is making sense. You will have a quiz on this in the near future. Have a beautiful evening.